Have you been wondering what Joey Salads has been up to lately? No? Well, I'm gonna tell you anyway. So if you take a closer look at his YouTube channel, you will notice something very quickly. He's not getting any views. I mean, most channels have less views per video than subscribers, but less than 100,000 views and you have 1.5 million subscribers. That's pretty pathetic. However, how did someone who is famous for his outstanding intelligence conquer this?
From this video, you can see how unpredictable these child predators are.
Well, if your whole channel is basically built on clickbait and pranks, you don't have too many options. Dear Joey has decided to go the way he had been successful with before, endorsing racism. It seems that his social experiments always have a slight touch of prejudice. You know, it's like if you have a good salad and you take salt and pepper to season it, and all of a sudden your pepper mill breaks and ruins the salad. And then Joey Salads comes, takes the salad, throws it away, and takes a huge dump on the plate. And that stinky, disgusting, brown pile of shit, that's Joey's videos. I mean, honestly, just look at the title. Giving gift, Muslim versus white guy. Let's just put aside the tension such a video might add to an already heated up discussion. How is a Muslim the opposite of a white guy? So Joey, I know you don't do this too often, but let's draw a rational conclusion. Either you're suggesting that there are no white Muslims, which is inherently stupid, or you're saying that all Muslims look alike, which is inherently stupid and racist. And I don't know, maybe this guy is approaching people like, hey, I'm Muslim, here's a little gift, have a nice day. But honestly, if just your title alone is such a ridiculous failure itself, I refuse to watch the video. Fuck that. Instead, we're gonna focus on this video, Sweden migrant immigration crisis, Trump on Sweden truth. I don't think that's a grammatically correct sentence. This title, whatever, let's just watch the video.
Trump made some comments relating to Sweden, and almost immediately after those comments, the left mainstream media sought out to debunk him.
So this drives me really fucking mad. You can't have the aspiration to produce a journalistic and somehow objective report if you're literally discrediting the whole media in the first sentence. What kind of left mainstream media is he even talking about? Fox News is the most watched cable network nationwide, and it took me like 20 seconds to find that out. How on earth is all mainstream media left? You know what, Joey? I actually think that Trump's constant tweets calling every opposing opinion fake news and even basic facts too, I think that got to your head a little bit. Maybe you should start using your own brain again, in case it didn't flee to Mexico yet, because it has better chances to have something to do even there. So before Joey begins his exciting trip to Sweden, he f***ed around at the airport for a while, pulling pranks on middle-aged women and harassing them because he just can't let it be. Okay, no, actually, he just asks them a few questions, but you got a little excited there. Once in Sweden, he meets up with his buddies, whose faces have to be blurred due to Joey's investigative and controversial report. Or maybe they are paid to say certain things, like in his Black Lives Matter video. I don't know.
I don't think we see any cops, and there won't be anyone helping us. And I would recommend don't bring your camera in. You go undercover if we're gonna walk around.
Yeah. So what he's referring to are the no-go zones of Sweden where they are heading. These zones don't exist officially. That's a claim Joey's friends argue without showing any evidence. The only thing I could find on the internet was that, according to the Swedish police, which I think is a pretty reputable source, these areas are merely characterized by, quote, the difficulty for the police to fulfill its duty, not that they don't go there. And in case you don't even believe them, take the word of Felipe Estrada Dörner, a criminology professor at the University of Stockholm. This perception is fabricated, he says.
The only thing creepy about it is the fact of being in an area that you know there's no police.
Oh really? No police, you're saying? Keep this in mind, it will be important later.
You know there's no help. So if something does happen where something does go wrong, There's no one there to help you, and that's what the most worrying part of being there was.
Well, maybe you wouldn't be so worried if you'd put just a fraction of the effort you put into playing dramatic music and implicating false claims into a little research. I actually thought that in times of Google, you couldn't be that uninformed. So what he does next is something I would actually consider to be a personal insult.
You're not denying the increased crime rate in the areas with the migrants.
Look, Joey, I don't know where you got these statistics, but this is not a statistic about crime rate in Sweden. Let me make this clear. It might slip by because it cuts it into the video for mere seconds, but this is a list of grenade attacks with no correlation to refugees whatsoever. The crime rate in Sweden has stayed the same since 2005, okay? That's not something you believe in or not. These are provable facts and figures. Google them.
What about the following night when there was massive car explosions went off?
Well, there were a few car explosions, not massive car explosions.
I'm sorry, did I miss something? What does that have to do with refugees? Look, I know you already pissed into your own mouth in a Twitter video. This might be backfiring right now because there's nothing but shit coming out of your mouth. So after that, Joey continues to interview this Swedish guy who actually makes a few quite intelligent claims. However, there are these facts popping up randomly all of the time that are not utterly false, but they still are insufficient. You see, a lot of people believe that refugees cause nothing but expenses, but that's just one side of the story. This might be surprising to a lot of you, but refugees actually bring economic benefits to a country in the long run, even though they might cost a lot at first. I'm not even judging how one country should handle refugees. All I'm saying is that if you're bragging about your report showing both sides of a story,
I'm giving you guys the truth from both sides of the situation. I would like you to take this video and interpret it the way that you feel.
You should consider implementing this into your video. Oh, and by the way, notice that he's constantly talking about migrants, not refugees. But there's actually a difference. Migrants come into a country because they want to. Refugees come into a country because they had to flee from their home country. Next up, Joey and his friends pay this place a visit.
This is where the British camera crew was attacked in this area, right?
Yeah, right here.
Right where we're standing?
Yeah, right over here.
Right over here.
Yeah. They were forced to escape through the tunnel over there.
Wow.
And again, Joey doesn't tell you something. First of all, this camera crew was not British, it was Australian. Oh, and guess what? They were working with the anti-immigration activist Jan Sjonesson, filming in a neighborhood mainly consisting of refugees.
Really, nigga?
That's basically Pranks in the Hood Sweden edition.
Let me throw a swing at you. Yo, it's a prank! It's a prank!
So either Joey's not telling you any of this because he doesn't know better, or he's purposefully only telling you one side of the story. And I can't decide which one is worse. Afterwards, Joey has a little interview with a friend who lives next to the place where a car exploded, allegedly.
And apparently that this car that got exploded didn't even get reported.
Oh really? Can you please get a little less vague here? Because you haven't really turned out to be such a great advocate of the bare truth.
I'm going to talk to him now about it, but a big problem is almost everybody that I talk to here doesn't want to be associated with this project out of fear of public scrutiny.
Oh really? Or do they just not want to be associated with such an embarrassing project?
And that's another big problem that in Sweden they're facing, where people can't even go and speak the truth about a situation because it's to the point where people are just bullied into silence.
What? I can't believe that. And you can't just make such extreme claims, basically saying that Sweden is becoming successively undemocratic and losing its free press without showing any evidence. Joey, I gotta say, I think you'll have to wait for that Pulitzer Prize a little longer.
There was a car burning. I tried calling, I called 911, but they tell me that things like this happens.
So they were trying to cover up the explosion to be a fault with the car and nothing related to the migrant.
That's what I think they tried to do.
Now, where did that come from? Even if this is true, what I don't think, what does it have to do with migrants/refugees? Are they just your scapegoat for everything now or what? Guys, sad news. Anna just came back from the doctor. She's got cancer. F***ing migrants. Always bringing in their diseases. Damn it, my beer's empty. F***ing Migrants. Oh what, another year until the next Deadpool movie comes out? F***ing migrants.
Really, nigga?
I doubt that this was an accident.
That's true, but the Wikipedia article about grenade attacks and car bombs in Sweden doesn't even mention migrants or refugees, but rather that many attacks, quote, are related to organized crime and extortion of restaurants and businesses. Let me remind you, Joey is here to investigate whether Donald Trump's statements about Sweden having problems with refugees are true or not. Where's the connection again?
So what I just found out through my Swedish friends, they have a thing called phishing. And what they do is they get enough people to call the cops in to come to an area, and when the cops get enough calls, when they get so many calls, the cops do finally go into the no-go zone areas. And when they do come in, the migrants are there ready to attack.
Yeah, that's probably how they did 9/11 too, together with their alien friends coming from their bases inside the hollow earth, you know? That's how they did it. Stop telling lies, Joey. No evidence equals no value. So after that, he talks about the process of ghettoization, which is a very complex issue, namely how migrants are brought into a certain area and, according to Joey, cause all kinds of things. For example, the crime rate goes up. One thing you can say about this is it's never a good idea to bring a lot of unemployed, poor and war-marked people into one area. That's the opposite of integration. But it's not the fault of the refugees. It's very rare that they can decide where they are going to live. So later, Joey and his friends drive around in the no-go zone some more, presumably looking for trouble. Damn, these pranksters just can't let it be. But well, do you remember when I told you to keep this in mind?
The only thing creepy about it is the fact of being in an area that you know there's no police. Like, no police.
Well...
Shit.
They were chasing us for drug dealing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Joey, well, last but not least, Joey visits a very recent crime scene. This investigation really reaches new levels.
I'm in Rissne, close to Rinkeby, in Stockholm. A guy shot in the face, very badly injured. So apparently this happens all the time in these communities.
And that's the key here. Apparently. I don't care what a guy whose Twitter name you won't even show tweeted. Donald Trump is tweeting bullshit all of the time, and that doesn't make it true. In conclusion, Joey SALADS has a very generous definition of finding out the truth. And I really don't know how to feel about him. On the one hand, he's actually putting effort into this. I mean, he flew to Sweden just for this video. But at the same time, he pisses me off so hard because he purposefully misrepresents so much. And I can't believe that he doesn't know better. I mean, I literally needed like 10 minutes to debunk most of the statements he made. So yes, I do think that he's deliberately deceiving his viewership. And you could just discount that. But the process of opinion making requires you to know about both sides of a story. That's the basis for democracy, and in times when the media is only striving for the next big headline rather than a balanced report, this is not helping. Let me end this by telling you a little story. My mother actually works with a few refugees from where she lives in Germany, and what they are doing is that they have a monthly event where the refugees cook for everyone who wants to come, and they try to have an exchange with the locals. And my mother had a conversation with a 17-year-old boy whose mother, father, and his siblings were killed by ISIS. And that boy had a little outburst. He was saying like, I miss my mother, I miss my mother. That was really sad. And I think this is something you have to consider when you talk about this. We are not talking about faceless creatures or a disease spreading over the Western world. We're talking about human beings who deserve dignity, respect, and love. Just like you and me. But to understand that, you have to muster up some empathy for these people. And sadly, that's the last thing Joey SALADS is going to do.